Tomo's recording. Anyway, hi and welcome to This Week in Wrestling with Ryan and Tom.
Hello.
I'm still not the name of the show. I call it that now because I wanted to brainstorm with you and be like, what should we call this thing that we do sometimes?
Well, we can next week, except we probably won't.
Yeah, we'll just be like, just call it. This isn't even This Week in Wrestling. This is fucking talking about Backlash. Welcome to Ryan and Tom talk about Backlash. I'm Ryan and he's Tom. Backlash was on yesterday. I'm gonna go straight into just like, what was your overall opinion?
I think it was a pretty good show. There wasn't a whole lot that was very surprising. A lot of my predictions didn't go as planned, but it was those predictions were half what I think would actually happen and half what I was hoping would happen. So it wasn't super surprising, but it was a first Smackdown pay-per-view, so they probably were just looking for it to get off to a decent start, and it did. I enjoyed it. I
agree with that. There were definitely some missteps that we'll get into later, but overall, nothing was spectacular. There was no like brilliant standout 5-star match, but pretty much everything was on a consistently like decent level. Everything I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good. That's like SmackDown as a whole, really. Like SmackDown as a whole, I'm like nothing on SmackDown so far has had me like insanely into it, other than like the Miz angle, I guess.
But at the same time, unlike Raw, nothing on SmackDown since the draft has made me like angry because of how bad it was.
So much on Raw makes me angry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We're not talking about Raw. We're talking about SmackDown because SmackDown was good.
SmackDown hasn't fucking up yet. Give it time, maybe. But
I feel like the problem they're going to run into. This is my completely unsolicited and knowledgeable opinion on where SmackDown's going to go wrong. I feel like because John Cena's barely ever there, they're going to reach a point where they have no star power. And like everyone big has fought everyone, and they're going to be like, well, I guess we have to make Apollo Crews or Baron Corbin a thing now.
Well, if this was, I can't remember where the head writer of NXT has gone, either Raw or SmackDown.
I'm pretty sure it was before the draft. It was to SmackDown, and that's why SmackDown was actually pretty decent before the draft. And I feel like he stayed, but I can't remember. What do you remember his name?
Ryan Ward.
Ryan Ward.
But like, you can totally have Baron Corbin or Apollo Crews one day be in the main event. It just takes little freaking character development.
Yeah, I just feel like that's what they should be doing with them at the moment, and that's not really happening. But maybe they had to like very quickly build up to their first pay-per-view, which I do feel like was a bit of a downfall of it, because it was literally like 2 weeks or it was like 2 or 3 weeks after SummerSlam, and they had to get straight into their first pay-per-view.
It's going to be difficult. I saw on the advert during the show, there's now a total of 19 pay-per-views a year.
Yes, there are.
That is going to be fucking exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If they're all this length, like it's still going to be a lot, but it'll be better than if they're all 3.5 hours or whatever. Because this only came in under 3, definitely. I want to say like 2.5, 2 3/4 ish. Like not including the pre-show.
I think they definitely should consider 3-hour one for Raw, but they can probably get away with a 2-hour one for SmackDown.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because SmackDown's only I know people say it's 2 hours, but it's 2 hours with adverts. I wish they'd done a Talking Smack after this though. I feel like that would have been a great look because Talking Smack feels kind of an integral part of SmackDown at the moment. And it would have been really nice to have Talking Smack where they just discuss all the stuff that happened on the pay-per-view, but I guess they'll have it after SmackDown on Tuesday, and it'll be good. I just wanted to see more Daniel Bryan.
It felt just more like a traditional pay-per-view than having its own kind of SmackDown-y identity.
Yeah, they used the SmackDown set with like no spinning hooks or anything. What were they? The dangling like saw things they had at the old Backlash pay-per-views and everyone wanted back.
Yeah. Well, like I never expected them to bring back.
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
individual sets.
It would have been wonderful, but I was just like before Backlash, like before a pay-per-view, and it's like one that's been on before. I go back and I watch some of the best matches from old pay-per-views, and I was watching like Undertaker and Kane versus Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin for like all the belts. It's like for the tag belts, the WWF title, and the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
And just the set was really cool, and it added to like the big feel of pay-per-views, like having separate sets. But I know they're never going to bring them back because it must cost a lot of fucking money.
Gotta spend that important money on getting Kurt Hawkins back.
Gotta spend that money on like snatching talent from Ring of Honor. How else are they going to get Adam Cole? Or I know, another big talent, Tanahashi,
Christopher Daniels.
Is he still? I know he was like, he used to be a really big thing like TNA and stuff. Is he still around? This is my lack of knowledge.
I actually don't know if he retired.
I thought I heard he did, but he probably didn't. He's only he's like 46. Yeah, he's in Ring of Honor now.
There you go.
Oh yeah, he's in oh okay, I know who he is. He's in the Addiction. He's the tag team champs. He's one of the 2 tag team champs. He's not the tag team champs by himself. He's not Kane.
So should we get started?
Yeah, I know you didn't watch the pre-show, so I want to very briefly talk about it because it's a pre-show. It was the same panel of Renee Young and then Jerry Lawler, Lita, and Booker T, and oh god, they're so bad.
There's something about their live. I don't know why Talking Smack just does it so much better. Maybe because it's more like one or 2 guest tops, usually one at a time. But
well, I think why it works is because it's Renee Young and Daniel Bryan who have good chemistry, and that it's just 2 people and then a couple of guests. Whereas a pre-show will have 4 people on it, and 3 of them are for various reasons that's just like out of their minds. And Renee Young's just trying to rein in like. I was genuinely concerned that Lita was just high. Like, I don't usually like to be like, oh, they're high, and like, but she was just sitting there, just like repeatedly, like, you know, the kind of thing, the head movement where they're kind of like throwing their hair back,
and like they don't move at all unless it's really sudden.
Yeah, she was just doing that repeatedly, and I was like, are you okay, Lita? Are you? Yeah. And they had a match. They had Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews that they basically set up on the pre-show because I guess they were expecting Kalisto to be back by now. Because Kalisto and Baron Corbin have been feuding, quotation marks, I guess. But they haven't actually feuded, of course, because Kalisto. I thought he was just like kayfabe injured for ages, and now that they're like not using him, and I'm like, oh, I guess he's just actually injured.
Either that or they're really doing well with this whole blurring lines between what's real and what's not.
Oh yeah, that's what they're trying to do now. That is I suppose, yeah, because they've got me genuinely convinced he's injured, but at the same time, that's not really is that a victory? That I had to put up with Baron Corbin just having a match with Apollo Crews because they needed a match on the pre-show. And
actually, Kalisto's just like fine, but he's just like sitting at home because he's got to stick to that story.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't you just use him? Jesus Christ. It's not like anyone cares enough about Kalisto or Baron Corbin or Apollo Crews.
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of... Well, we've seen at least, I think, 3 Baron Corbin Apollo Crews matches, and none of them the crowd seemed to care that much about.
Except the one where he told Apollo Crews to go back to Ring of Honor.
But I feel like that was a slow burn reaction.
Like, over time it's built up and people now are like, holy shit, do you remember when Baron Corbin told Apollo Crews to go back to Ring of Honor?
Yeah, maybe like if Full Sail would have gotten on the back of that more and would have been all like holy shit chants and this is awesome chants and we are
Fight
awesome.
forever.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Every god. I'm already sick with the fight forever chant.
I'm already sick of "You Deserve It," which was chanted like 6 times at Backlash.
Only one of the people deserved. Only two of the people deserved it. There were two worthy "You Deserved It," and it's already diluted enough that they shouldn't have chanted it.
Yep.
Yeah, their match was fine. It was like a fine match. It wasn't any better than anything you would get on SmackDown, but it's the pre-show, so I don't know what you expect. Baron Corbin won, which I think is good. Baron Corbin needs some goddamn momentum, and Apollo Crews is a smiling, happy-go-lucky babyface. So
as long as they keep up this, the reason that he's losing is that he's just too fucking happy and not aggressive. Like he can lose for as long as he wants, as far as I'm concerned.
Just keep losing, and eventually he's like, "Oh, I should like fucking do some shit."
Maybe I should not be so fucking happy all the goddamn time. Maybe I should get fucking hyped for once.
He starts hanging out with the hype bros.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that. There was there was something else on the pre-show. Alexa Bliss did an interview with the pre-show panel. It's not notable other than it was the first look at Alexa Bliss's like makeup and hair, which was wonderful.
I had a feeling you would appreciate it.
Like, not even in like a sexy way. It was just I was just like, that's brilliant. I'm happy I saw this. Like, it made my day. Like Alexa Bliss sitting next to Lita, and she's just like she had like different color lip thing. Like half of her lip was blue and half of it was pink, and then on the other side it was like different. And I like pigtails. It was cool. I liked her outfit.
I hope on the next episode of SmackDown she's just gonna come out with Blake's like head on her waist, like Lollipop Chainsaw style.
He's just like, is Blake the one who's gone all like emo now? His like NXT gimmick is being all like sad and emo and having like a slow entrance theme and stuff.
Yeah, he's gone from being a real life cowboy to like sad emo.
I'd be okay with that. He's just like, Alexa, do we have to go home and wrestle? Just go to bed.
Just want to listen to 30 Seconds to Mars.
That was the most emo band you could think of.
Yes.
MCR. Always go for MCR.
Well, I thought it was too easy.
Like, yeah, it's easy. Like, Linkin Park, I don't know. Like, you gotta play to the masses.
Evanescence.
I had a friend who was really into Evanescence. And she was like, have you ever heard this song Lithium? And I was like, the Nirvana song. You piece of shit, get out of here. We weren't friends after that for some reason.
Have you ever heard of Lithium?
No, we weren't friends after that for some reason. Yeah, it's just tangents. Alright, we have 8 matches to talk about. I feel like we can have a little bit of tangenting. Unlike we attempted to record a Raw and SmackDown and everything podcast, and we did 2 hours, and we'd only covered Raw.
Raw was total about 2.5 hours.
With this, we can afford a little tangenting. We can afford a little like other stuff. I don't know what we're gonna do about everything else, but that's not as important right now. Because let's move on to the opening match of the night. I was shocked this was the opening match. I thought it was going to be right up the top of the card, but not a bad thing. The 6-pack women's challenge, the elimination challenge, which they introduced like every time they had a stipulation to the match. It was just like the week before they just said it like it was always an elimination challenge, but
like
it wasn't.
Your fault for like, oh, you must have not been paying attention.
Yeah, it was like when they made a match DQ, no DQ at some point, and I was like, it wasn't no DQ before you started the match, you lying assholes. Like, they were just like, 6-pack elimination challenge. That's what Shane McMahon said when he announced it. And Becky Lynch. My prediction. I'm wearing my Becky Lynch shirt right now. I got a Becky Lynch shirt, but not like one that says last kicker on it, because I feel like I can't wear that without looking like a wife beater. But I got a nice Beckplex City fan made Becky Lynch shirt, and she won, and she's the first SmackDown Women's Champion. Opinions on the match?
Good. I liked that there was like a decent amount of like I'd say a decent amount of like hunger to everybody in this match. There are too many title matches I watch where it's clear that the guys are just kind of wrestling
Hmm.
and like they aren't like looking for any kind of title. Um, but I like that every single person seemed that they were desperately trying to get people eliminated to win the match. Apart from that one time, I believe it when Naomi had a submission on somebody
Hmm.
and Alexa broke it up. That was like one of the two really sloppy moments that stood out to me.
Hmm.
But I did also like how they basically tried to make everyone look strong by having Alexa dominate like the first 10 minutes. Then Alexa gets eliminated by Naomi. Naomi gets eliminated by Natalia. Natalia gets eliminated by Nikki. Nikki gets eliminated by Carmella. And Carmella gets eliminated by Becky. There was
Hmm.
nobody eliminated more than one person, so everybody had a moment of looking strong, and I actually quite like that.
Yeah, I thought it did a good job. Like, no one was eliminated in like the first 2 minutes or anything, which I thought they might do to like thin the crowd a little bit.
Hmm.
But like, it was a 15-minute match. Everyone got a good amount of time to like shine and do some cool stuff and look good,
Hmm.
which is still really important at this early stage in the women's division of SmackDown, where like 3 of these women really need to be established. Because
I was, yeah, I think Bliss did really well.
Mm.
I really think she did well. Like I say, dominating the first half of the match. It felt like, but also like showing the weaknesses and reasons why she ended up eliminated. I honestly thought Carmella was the one who like disappointed me the most.
Oh
She
yeah,
really,
definitely.
she like when it came down to just her and Becky in the final two, and like her offense just reminded me of like the some of the darker days of a women's division, Divas division.
Where she's just like slapping her and like pulling her hair and stuff.
Yeah, and like nothing is attempting to like nothing is even close to connecting, and Becky doesn't even know how to sell it because it's just so weak.
I thought it was a weird decision. This is the weird decision of the match to have Carmella be the last person eliminated, because I feel like one of, like you were saying, Carmella was just not the strongest wrestler in that match to go against Becky Lynch, and she kind of looked weak in those final moments because of it.
Hmm.
And also because I know this might just be me, but I never thought Carmella was going to win. I never thought Carmella had a chance. As soon as it was Becky Lynch and Carmella, I was just like, oh, Becky Lynch is going to win.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't want to get all fantasy booking here, but I think how maybe he could have gone instead was if you want to keep everyone looking strong, Carmella ends up eliminating Natalia, Nikki eliminates Carmella, and then when it's about to be Nikki and Becky facing off, Carmella runs back in and beats the absolute fuck out of Nikki.
hmm.
And she's like, Becky, do it. I don't even care. Nikki's the worst. And Becky, because she's a good babyface, like allows Nikki to get up and recover and all that shit. And that allows both like people to think, oh, she's being too nice. She's going to lose the title again
Hmm.
because she doesn't have a killer instinct. But then she ends up winning it anyway.
Yeah, I definitely think it should have been Becky and Nikki as the final two, because those are the two that everyone thought was going to win.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect sort of final two to have, because that's the two where you're like, oh, who's going to win?
Hmm.
Whereas having Carmella, it killed all the tension of the match for me personally. But
Yeah, and like that final two, like it seemed to both drag and end really quickly. I think
Mm.
everybody was, like you say, just waiting for a moment where Carmella would tap.
yeah, where Becky would lock in the Sama and
Mhm.
Carmella would just, yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with like, I guess the idea was like, oh, Carmella to survive to the final two. She's a big deal, but I don't think it quite worked because Carmella, unfortunately, is the least notable in every way, shape, and form woman
I,
on SmackDown.
I don't like that she still does her entrance like a babyface.
Oh, like she didn't do it this time, did she? The Princess of Staten Island thing.
She didn't do anything on a mic, but she still does her moonwalks and she's still like looking like she's trying to fire up the crowd.
I don't mind it because it really pisses me off. So I think it's really great heel work.
I guess,
But
she's deliberately doing it to a dead crowd. She wants the crowd to just not react to her.
yeah, that's the thing. I feel like because if the crowd was like reacting to it, I'd be like, yeah, but it kind of works because it's kind of like she so wants attention, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna do my cool moves, and everyone's like, we don't give a shit. Fucking Carmella.
Yeah, I guess she. It's. I guess I'm just getting worked, bro. Because she annoys me a lot, but she's a bad guy, so I'm glad she loses.
No, yeah. Sorry, I'm just coughing and being disgusting. And yeah, it was a good match. I thought there was some really good stuff in here. The Naomi's like springboard crossbody, like the setup for it was really dumb, where they're all being Irish whipped out one by one.
And the first person who got whipped out, like Alexa Bliss or whoever it was, is just hanging around there for 5 minutes.
Because everyone was taking such a long time to get out of the goddamn ring. But when she actually did it, it was a really cool move.
It was a pretty classic Naomi match of a couple of really great athletic moments, and then some really painful moments as well.
So I think she'd be really good in a ladder match, because she can literally just do some crazy shit with the ladder and spend the rest of the time lying outside of the ring.
Yeah, ladder matches are where botches are most fun as well, because if somebody fucks up, they might land on the ladder and they're on their shoulder or their head.
Yeah, it's actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because they might die. That's what makes it fun. It's like that WrestleMania 32 spot in the ladder match where Sami Zayn, I can't remember, he did something to Kevin Owens on the ladder, and it looked like Kevin Owens legitimately died.
It wasn't a sunset flip powerbomb, was it?
No, because he ended up with his he was literally face down, and his head was in the ladder rungs.
Oh yes.
I can't remember. It was it was a driver or something of some kind, I think. But yeah, really fun match. I'm looking forward to seeing where the division goes from here, because of course we've got I guess Carmella and Nikki Bella will be the lower down women's feud.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think Nikki might even be above the title at this point.
Yeah, I was seeing people online saying that, I think I may have said it to you for Backlash predictions, that a lot of people were saying Natalya it would be a good idea to give it to her as a first run. It'd be a good idea to give it to a veteran to start it off, and then it gives people plenty of time to chase her. But I think maybe apart from maybe one title ring she might get before she's gone, I don't think Nikki's going to be in the title picture very much.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's at this point in her career, she gets good reactions no matter what. She doesn't need to hold the title doesn't need her at this point, and she doesn't need the title.
Mm-hmm.
She can, if she's feuding with Carmella, people are going to be interested because it's Nikki Bella and because she's on Total Divas, or Total Bellas now, I guess, and she's got her crowd. She doesn't need. Whereas Becky Lynch, she was chasing the title for so long, she needed that moment where she has it, so you can be oh, she is good. She knows what she's doing.
So who do you want as a first feud for her?
Alexa Bliss. I want them to feud forever, because Alexa Bliss is a great heel. Becky Lynch is a great face. I want them to go crazy with it. I want Alexa Bliss to be full on, just doing horrible shit to Becky Lynch, and just to get the title. I don't know, because I don't want to feud with Natalya again.
No, it wasn't great before.
I feel like they might be able to pull off a better feud in the future. But and also, Eva Marie isn't back for a week or two, so she can't feud with her yet.
Oh yeah, shit.
Finally gonna round out this women's division.
I wish I'd still announced her. Before she was in that match at Backlash. I wish a guy would have been Eva Marie is not competing tonight because she is not scheduled to.
I genuinely thought they were going to do something like that, where they had Eva Marie's music, everyone else was in, and you think the match is about to start, and then Eva Marie's music starts playing, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And it's just she won't be appearing tonight because she's still on holiday.
She's not in the match,
but she wants to put first dibs on challenging for the title. That sort of thing. I don't know. But yeah, good match. Some sloppiness, but I think the sloppiness didn't matter to me because I was so caught up in the the momentum of the match, and it was fast paced and fun, so it was a good opening match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it was. It isn't a match we see super often, and like I say, every woman actually looked like they were really trying to win a match, so that's enough for me to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to where they go from here. I just hope they get a couple more women and a couple more people in SmackDown in general, but specifically, I think they need more women because we've already seen all these women wrestle now, like each other. I'm like, oh, we already need more people. We already need fresh blood in this division. Yeah, good stuff. So next up, it was the Usos versus the Hype Bros to get into the finals of the tag team tournament. And you were wrong. You were wrong. Boom.
I was. I still think it would have been a. I still think it would have been a good idea. I stand by that. That would have been a smart decision. Like we could have had Evil Usos being like getting more and more frustrated. But I guess it led to a good match in the end with Slayer and Rhino.
Yeah.
I liked that their Titantron still says "play hard in the paint." Despite the fact there's no longer any paint.
Yeah, I was way more like this match. It was fine, but there was nothing particularly great to me about this match. But the Usos' new look of no face paint and just completely like black clothing with like hoodies up and stuff was brilliant. I'm like, oh, they're bad guys now because they don't give a shit about color.
Like, I hope for all of our sakes, Jimmy continues to be the one that wears a vest and Jay is the one that wears no vest.
Why? Or what happens if they swap?
Then, like, we're all just going to be confused which one our favorite is.
I thought you meant like Jimmy had like a horrible scar or something, or like a bad tattoo that you don't want to see. Like Jimmy has like a Brock Lesnar dick tattoo on his stomach. I thought they were going to twin magic it up, like they were going to like, because he had his tank top like in his trousers. I thought he was going to like twin magic it and take it off and like put it on, so they could like swap, but they didn't do that. But they could in the future because the Bellas aren't doing it anymore.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't need that to beat the fucking Hype Bros.
Yeah, no, they did not need that to beat the Hype Bros. Which one did they? This tells you how much I remember. I watched it live, which for me means I was up at like 4 a.m. in my defense of not remembering everything perfectly. They injured Zack Ryder, right? Like at the end. Yes,
they were. They ended up with doing the thing I did to American Alpha, where they worked a leg for a bit.
But people cared less because it was the Hype Bros.
And then they tapped him out. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. Maybe I'm not certain of the story of the match being like how horrible the Usos are and how opportunistic they were, and David Otunga said at one point that he believed that they should be suspended for the actions that they did. They are still getting title shots despite injuring people. And all I can think is like Seth Rollins.
Well, that's on Raw. Raw's a lawless mad world. They could. I bet on Tuesday they'll be like, "Why did you give these people who injured them a title shot?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, Seth Rollins and Raw and rah."
Like, you think Seth Rollins is better than Usos, and everyone's kind of like,
yeah. Do you remember that one time on SmackDown where you probably don't? I doubt you even watched SmackDown before the draft, which is fair. But it was David Otunga was commentating.
Not even insulted.
It's true. It was like one of the Usos versus AJ Styles, and Otunga was like,
Yes, I remember that.
It was like, if there's anyone that can beat AJ Styles, it's insert Uso here. Such a perfect, like, no, they couldn't. Neither of them, both of them together could not beat AJ Styles.
David Otunga has the most horrible generic commentary like that you could possibly have, where you can take out this superstar's name, the wrestler's name, for anything, like replace it with any other wrestler, and it still fits what David Otunga says. There's a moment in this match where he goes, "What's great about Zack Ryder is that he always ups his game for big matches."
Big match Zack.
Big match Zack, which is really completely untrue.
Don't you remember that time he upped his game for that Intercontinental ladder match?
He won that's the only big match he's won in like 5 years.
Well, around that time was he even in the Royal Rumble this year? He upped his
Um,
game for that by not being in it.
he upped his game from going from Superstars to Raw.
He upped his game by being on SmackDown for a week.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Yeah, David Otunga continues to be the dirt worst.
It's I hate saying it because there's nothing wrong with him as a person, but he's such a like bland human being. Maybe not in person. I don't know. I always feel bad like saying that, but he's a really bland human being on commentary. He's just like you said, it's just generic. Oh well, this guy is like this.
Oh, when he's on top form, he could beat maybe anyone in the WWE, and I'm like, great, wow.
Maybe if like Summer Rae's on top form and Charlotte's like injured, she can beat Charlotte. It's no point saying it. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't know why Summer Rae and Charlotte were my go-to. But yeah.
He also has a horrible. Sorry to interrupt, but he also has a horrible habit of when it's in a replay, he literally just describes what we're seeing in a replay, where he's like, "Oh, look at this! Dolph Ziggler went for a clothesline, but he was countered into a suplex."
That's great, David Otunga.
We can see that.
We're watching it happen.
Tell me the impact. Tell me why it hurts. You're a wrestler.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't fulfill that like color commentary role of being like, oh, this like the William Regal or Daniel Bryan of like this hurts because he's putting pressure on this and he's hyperextending that and the spine and all that sort of stuff. Like he never does that. It's always just like, well, I think I'm trying to give any example of anything he said, but I can't because it was all really boring.
Like literally just say like any statistic or sentence in the blandest possible way, and you've done a half decent David Otunga.
Yeah. It makes me like JBL. David Otunga makes me like JBL. Is that bad?
Well, JBL's actually, I feel like he's gotten better in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got pulled aside by anyone, but the first couple of weeks of SmackDown, he was really awful at just treading on Mara's like toes while he's speaking. And these days, like JBL commentates like a toddler that's just been told off. He's way quieter and he sounds a bit more depressed, but it actually ends up being better. Like, still better commentary from him.
Yeah. I just like I don't notice him anymore. Like I felt when he was on Raw, I always noticed JBL was annoying me. But now here, I'm just like, oh, JBL said something. That's fine. It's okay. I feel like also it's partly because he doesn't have the same relationship with David Otunga he has with Byron Saxton. Like he's never like, shut up, David Otunga, which I would actually appreciate because I don't want David Otunga to speak. But he doesn't have that same relationship, so he doesn't annoy me as much.
Yeah,
basic way.
As a very quick aside, I would love to see the ride along episode with JBL, Byron Saxton, and Michael Cole.
Oh yeah, they did one, didn't they?
I'm slowly like going from hating to actually quite enjoying the Top Gear relationship, basically, of those three.
Well, they're just horrible. I'm kind of like, I know, I really enjoy. I feel like Corey Graves does a way better job of insulting.
Byron Saxton.
Yeah, his. I was like Daniel Bryan, and I was like. Daniel Bryan doesn't do commentary on Raw. He'd just be shitting on it the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not saying the three of them were in any way a good commentary team.
But like, as a relationship, you want to see more of it.
There's something fun about their banter. Yeah, and Corey still like insults Byron, but in context of like the wrestling, and he usually leaves it somewhat open for Byron to respond. Whereas JBL's just like, I would fucking kick your head off and then bury you in front of your family.
My favorite was, I hope you get drafted to the military, Byron, so you can go to war. I was like, that's like a great burn, but at the same time, it's just like, it's brutal. Like, I wanted a wrestler to say that to another wrestler in the ring because they're having a feud.
Yes. Like, it wasn't helping the product at all, but it was entertaining finding JBL finding more and more imaginative ways to tell Byron Saxton that he hopes he dies.
Yeah, it's great. He stopped doing it after that. I feel like that was like his hit, and then he was just like, "All right, I'm done. I can't even insult him anymore." But yeah, I find him and Corey have a way better like relationship.
Yeah, I enjoy the Raw commentary. I enjoy both commentary teams way more than it was before the draft.
Yeah, I kind of miss Lawler on commentary, like heel Lawler, but I'm good with what we've got now.
It's fine.
Yeah, I just want to swap Otunga up for someone else. I want to see what Lita would do on commentary, but I feel like it would be like worst days Booker T disaster.
I'm not sure if she'd be worse than Otunga, but I
just want to see it.
Yeah, I would be interested. I would be interested to see like how she would. I feel like she'd just be comparing it nonstop to be like, oh god, it's so much better than the shit I used to go through.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be perfectly fine. I don't know. It's mostly just I just want to go with which feels mean, but I'm sure he could do something. I'm sure isn't he like the lawyer for WWE as well? Like,
yeah,
he also does commentary because they're like, well, we pay him.
Well, like the pretty heavy rumor, and I don't even know if it needs to be a rumor. It's just obvious that they didn't want an all-white commentary team for either show. So they just needed to find someone, and I think it would have been better if they just had like Lita or maybe Booker. Hell, Booker T would be better than David Otunga.
Yeah, Booker T at least has stuff that's interesting. Like it's nonsense, but you're like, all right, Booker T, I care about your opinion. I want to hear what you have to say because it's a thing you're saying. It's weird. That was something I wanted to say about the pre-show. Just rewinding for a minute, I find it weird. No, everywhere else there's really defined heel and face dynamics, but on the pre-show, like every time they're asked for their opinion, they change it up, and like sometimes they're heel and sometimes they're face. Like sometimes they're supporting heel and sometimes they're supporting faces, and it's not bad. I just think it's really interesting that they're just like, on the pre-show you could just have actual opinions and just be a human being.
I think that's their attempt to legitimize it by being like, if it was on the show itself or how it used to be, like you say, if the character is a good guy, they'll be like, John Cena's gonna win because he never gives up and you can't see him. But yeah, these days it's more like, okay, John Cena's getting old and he hasn't faced someone like AJ Styles before and this, that, and the other, and I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I just wish it was with people who just didn't talk over each other as much and have more chemistry.
Didn't seem quite so drunk.
Yeah. There was I don't know, it's just not great. But stop blowing on your mic, you dick.
Alright.
You're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just doing it for fun. Back on track. We may have got slightly. Well, I feel we were talking about the commentary team. That's important to the show.
Yeah. It's fine. Mojo Rawley never really sets my world on fire. I like the idea. What gets me through his matches is thinking about him waking up the day after in incredible amounts of pain, but he just doesn't feel it at the time because he's just so hyped.
I like Mojo Rawley. I like he ain't hype. I like it when he charges at people and runs them over because he's really big. I don't want him to be anything more than Zack Ryder's tag team partner, but in that role, I enjoy him.
Oh, I also love. I've never spoken about this before. I love the Hype Bros theme song.
Oh, hype.
It's so bad where they're both trying to. It sounds like their motivators trying to hype the crowd up, but they get so engrossed in it, they're just doing it for themselves. So it's just hype, bro, hype, bro. They should be asking the crowd to chant along, but they're like, nah, fuck it, we didn't do it.
We need to be hype. That's what matters. And they do need to be hype. They are the hype bros. What was next? Alright. So we move on to The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz, with help from Maurice, beat Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
Thoughts?
These guys have like faced each other what feels like 800 times.
Hmm.
This one had a slightly different like story to it, I guess, because Miz was trying to show that he's like not a coward and can wrestle and whatever. I did appreciate. I thought it was great him using Daniel Bryan's moves, and
Oh,
also
where he was
him.
doing the yes chant.
Yeah,
Fucking
and he
brilliant.
did like multiple drop kick and then he did the
Mm.
surfboard. Him
Mm.
being really obviously terrible at the surfboard was a nice little blur of the line between reality and kayfabe. Um, he like he cannot lock Dolph Ziggler's like legs into his legs, and he just like keeps like popping out, and he's like, oh,
I
shit.
yeah, he had him hit for like 5 seconds, but
Yeah.
it was lovely.
And yeah, rest of the match was fine. I appreciated. Yeah, Maurice like sprays Dolph Ziggler in the face with hairspray, and he reacts like he just got like tased.
Was it hairspray? I thought it was mace.
And maybe it was Mace. I
No,
don't know what it says about the Miz that Maurice walks around with him all the time, but she still carries a mace.
like, do you really trust the Miz to defend you? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's probably hairspray. That makes sense.
Hairspray in the eye fucking hurts, bro.
Oh no, yeah, I agree with that. I'm not being like hairspray. That wouldn't even hurt. Fucking Dolph Ziggler, pussy ass overselling bitch. Which he is. Yeah. The match was fine. Well, I enjoyed it quite a lot, but
Yeah,
the
like I
ending.
say, I think it told a slightly better story than a lot of previous missed Dolph Ziggler matches.
It does help.
Was it-
I haven't seen a Miz Dolph Ziggler match before.
Honestly, I would say I thought Miz did a better job in this than Dolph.
Oh, yeah, the Miz was. That was my thing. I was like, the Miz was really good in this match.
Mm.
Like he's not doing anything crazy, but he was doing it well. He was in character the whole time, and everything he did felt like it had a purpose and was a extension of his like game plan and his character. That's what I want from a wrestler.
I don't really know where Dolph Ziggler goes from here. He's like the whole story of the match. Like JBL keeps going on about like, hey, Dolph doesn't really win matches anymore, does he? And then he doesn't win this one, so I don't know. Dolph's probably gonna go back to like mumbling about how he steals the show.
He's gonna Rhino's gonna go to a campaign and he's gonna join Heath Slater's tag team. Because they're like, well, Heath Slater got Rhino over. I guess we'll have to just give him Dolph Ziggler and see what he can do.
Dolph Ziggler's just gonna get lower and lower on the card until he's losing to fucking I don't know, fucking that guy with no chin from the
James Ellsworth,
from the yes,
the jobber.
from this from the Braun Strowman squash, and he's still coming out acting like he's like,
I'm so held down. I'm so held down by the man.
I'm a show off.
He should lose
your girl.
that milkman guy.
Norman.
No, was it Norman? Yeah. Like that guy's just like, I love milk, and he's just like, I can beat this guy. Come on.
I love big sweaty man.
I liked that guy. I feel like the jobber segments on Raw are usually really funny. Like my favorite was the girl with like the dyed hair, and she was just like, I've been watching the Olympics, and if they can do it, I can do it too. And then Nia Jax just squashed her. But she was like adorable, and it's funny.
There's also a pretty good one today with AJ Styles just walking up to those two like nobodies and being like, "Hey, it's a great day for you. You're looking at me."
And you're looking at me, the next WWE champion. And they're like, but what about the Universal Championship? That'd be my reaction. I'd have just been like, but you're not the Universal. That's like the real championship, isn't it? Like now?
I don't like how I really wish the world title for SmackDown was just called like the WWE Championship.
I think it is.
Or it's not really, or the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Right now, it's the WWE World Championship, and they really like emphasize that it's world because it really is fucking like duck season, rabbit seasoning with Raw being like, well, we're the Universal Championship.
Daniel Bryan's always like, we're gonna have the multi-dimensional championship. That's what they should do. Like, just step it up. Yeah, I enjoyed that little segment. back on the topic of, yeah, with the Miz and Dolph Ziggler, I was hoping there was going to be like a Daniel Bryan screw job or something. Was like my dream going in.
What I was hoping was that like the Miz would be trying to like retreat or whatever, and as he's crawling up a ramp, Daniel Bryan walks down to a ring. I guess the referee's counting, and he's like, "I'll fucking slit your throat if you like count to 10." Like this, you do not count him out. This match is like ending like in a pinfall DQ. Submission.
He comes out and he's like, "This is there must be a winner match. Like there can be no disqualifications and no countouts."
If either that or like Daniel Bryan just comes out and like it's just like fucking told you bitch as Miz is trying to run away.
And the Miz is like, "I'm gonna get back in that ring and I'm gonna win," and Dolph Ziggler just super kicks him.
Yes.
As he gets in.
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. He's a heel. He wins by cheating. I'm just like, this is... So it's not really a story anymore. Like, him and Daniel Bryan still have beef, but it's not like a complex story anymore. It's just like... Miz is a coward who wins by cheating, and Daniel Bryan wants him to stop and not be the Intercontinental Champion anymore.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know how it could have been better, because you can't have a full-on feud with a guy we just know isn't going to get in the ring.
They should have brought in Cesaro.
Well, that's a whole other angry rant.
What do you mean about the Intercontinental title picture it's really bad on SmackDown at the moment anyway. You have who else is there who could compete for it? Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin.
Pretty much. and they've all four of those guys have already fucking feuded for the title.
I guess like Bray Wyatt could go for it, but I feel like Bray Wyatt's a bit too big for the Intercontinental title.
I did actually, as an aside, like Miz pointing out for a fact that all Dolph Ziggler does is like lose, like non-fucking stop, and Daniel Bryan, all he has to do is just wander out and be like, "Hey Miz, you're a coward," and he gets an Intercontinental Championship shot. And Miz is like, "You think I'm fucking devaluing a title?" When Dolph Ziggler just comes out and fucking farts into a mic and he gets a title shot.
No, he delivered a really heartfelt promo about how he always loses, and then he lost. Like you were saying, like what the fuck do you do with Dolph Ziggler now? He lost his world title match. He lost his Intercontinental title match. He's not in a tag team. He could compete for the women's championship.
We'll have to get past Batista, who's a new women's champion.
Like Batista in a dress, like pretending to be a girl, like Batista, or like just just Batista.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a great moment of Michael Cole like accidentally calling Batista the new women's champion.
Oh no, I have not seen that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, like what's he gonna? There's no one left for him to like feud with. No, I want to see him feud with.
Well, he's basically John Cena if John Cena lost all the time. You know how like when John Cena loses, he's still kind of like, whatever, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. John Cena's in such a place now he can lose, and it doesn't really affect the fact that he's John Cena. But Dolph Ziggler isn't in that place. He's in the place where he loses, and everyone's like, yeah, because he's a fucking loser.
Yeah, because he's Dolph Ziggler. That's what he does. He like has decent matches, loses, and then like winks at the audience about how they make him lose all the time.
I know it's the thing everyone says about every goddamn face that isn't working. They need to turn him heel. Like, I know it's the goddamn go-to, but what else is he going to do as a face? If he was a heel, you could at least be like, alright, now he's going to feud with Randy Orton or whatever.
Yeah, there's more people for him to face, really, as a heel.
Like, he could have some decent matches with Crews, I don't know. On the pre-show of No Mercy.
I did appreciate that his tights he wore that one time where I think it said "stealing the pre-show" on his ass.
Wasn't that Ryback? Did they both do that?
No,
Ryback had the pre-show stopper. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think Ziggler had "stealing the pre-show."
That's funny. But he was on the main card, so that was a victory. He was on the main card at SummerSlam as well, which is more than can be said for Sami Zayn.
uh,
Uh,
congrats, Dolph. You're currently marginally above Sami Zayn.
I know, we'll see what he's doing at Clash of Champions, but I would assume nothing. Because what's his feud right now? Him versus his knee. His match is he's in a hospital bed and they're bandaging it up, and he's like, "Can I wrestle?"
Best of 7 series.
Just
It's
keep,
his knee.
like him walking to the ring, and it collapses on him the first 3 times, and it's like, "I've got to get to the ring this time, and that's how I win."
Oh my god. Poor Sammy.
Yeah. I don't want him to even. This is why he should have been on goddamn Smackdown.
Like SmackDown has literally the opposite problem, where they're using all of their guys really well, but it's almost like everyone's already been like too, I don't know, exposed.
Well, everyone's like in their optimum place at the moment, so there's nowhere for them to really move. I feel without like Apollo Crews isn't going to be beating AJ Styles anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
So he's not going to be rising up. Like, they need a couple of people like Cesaro and Zayn who could believably be challenging for the Intercontinental title, be believably challenging for the World title, believably making a tag team. I don't know. Yeah, like they have everyone and they use everyone, whereas Raw has too many people and they don't use everyone.
It's real rough. They need to just bring some of the maybe this wouldn't work, but I feel like a lot of those guys from Raw need to go to SmackDown, and then the cruiserweights and the NXT guys go to Raw.
Yeah, because they have the cruiserweight. Raw's getting the cruiserweight division, so I guess it's that'll fill up more time, but that means the people are going to be used less, unless like I think Sami Zayn's technically a cruiserweight and like Neville's cruiserweight, so they might be being used there. But I don't know how well they're going to handle the cruiserweight division, so I don't want them to like screw up Neville and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, in theory, Neville should be almost like the final boss of the cruiserweights.
He should probably be the first champion, like, because the cruiserweights are all going to be new guys who no one who hasn't watched the Cruiserweight Classic seen before. So they should like. I feel like Neville would be a good like. He's a really great guy in the ring, and then like when somebody beats him, people will be like, "Oh yeah, Neville's like good in the ring, so this guy must be good as well because he beat him."
Yeah, he's a good like lower mid guy. That if somebody coming up is like somebody coming up can both lose to him and beat him, and it doesn't really affect either of them. Or like it still makes them both look. You can still make them both look pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm looking forward to the final on Wednesday, though, the Cruiserweight Classic.
Who's in it?
There's 3 matches. It's Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. and 2 other people. Gran Metalik and I want to say TJ Perkins. They're in the semi-finals, and then they're going into the finals against each other. It'll probably be Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. If I were to guess. But that's like live, so they haven't spoiled it yet. But they've had really good matches, but like they had Rich Swann and they had Brian Kendrick, and I was like really behind those guys, and they had like Jack Gallagher and stuff, and Noam Dar, and now everyone I was really behind is gone, and I'm kind of like, oh okay, like Gran Metalik is cool, it's like crazy luchador stuff, but we'll see.
It'll be good.
They'll be good matches. I'm also worried. Like, they're saying the cruiserweights are going to be the best cruiserweights in the world on Raw, but I feel like Zack Sabre Jr. or Kota Ibushi is going to win, and neither of those guys are going to go to Raw. So it's like the 3rd best cruiserweight in the world is on Raw. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm being told right now. Yeah, that was a sidetrack. Back on, Bray Wyatt defeated Randy Orton by count out. It says forfeit.
Bray Wyatt's big victory. Oh yeah, why the hell is it forfeit and not just winning by count out? Why are you going to have a referee do the count out if he's not winning by count out? Why is it forfeit?
Yeah, I liked it because it was a cool moment. It was like a cool thing to see where Bray Wyatt's just sitting there like, yeah, like he's counting him out right now because I beat the shit out of him. Because that happened early on the card. Bray Wyatt's just beating up Randy Orton, like backstage, like he has him. It looked really weird at first, like because they only had Bray Wyatt from behind, so it looked like it was someone else. Didn't look like it was Bray Wyatt. It looked like they had like an actor pretending to be Bray Wyatt.
Like a twin magic bit.
Yeah, well, because you couldn't even like see his like shitty braids or whatever they are. Like it was literally from like his lower back down. I'm like, you just found a slightly tubby guy and put him in a like vest.
Like Orton was unable, like not clear to compete. So last minute they couldn't even find Bray. Like they would just get one of like the camera guys to just like put on some snake boots.
Yeah, but then they like it was him. It just looked terrible. It wasn't very well shot.
Well, the attack didn't look very good either.
Yeah,
like slamming his leg in that like white door looking thing.
Yeah, the problem was I felt like you couldn't tell what was happening at first because he was like blocking the door. So you're like, what the fuck is he doing? Like a solid 20 seconds. It's like obviously the idea is they're shooting it like it's live, but it's not live. They planned this out ahead of time. They should have known to have the camera in a place where I could see he's having his leg slammed out a door.
It looks like Randy's like trapped his leg there, and Bray's trying to like help him get it out.
It's like, come on, Brett, come on, Randy. It's not that hard. You just gotta open the door. And Randy's like, no, I don't understand. I closed the door more. Yeah.
I tried pulling it more close, and it just doesn't work.
It just hurts my leg. Yeah. So the reason behind this is that apparently Randy Orton got a concussion at SummerSlam. Shocking. What a shocking thing that could happen. I don't know why he would have got a concussion.
What part of that match could he possibly have got a concussion from?
Which just goes back. It was a dumb fucking idea. I'm sorry. I know people are like, oh no, it was really cool because it blended the lines between reality and fiction. Like, no, it blended the lines between Randy Orton's head and his like skull and his brain. Yeah, apparently what they're saying, what like the dirt sheets are saying, is that they thought Randy Orton would be cleared by Backlash, so they kept announcing the match and building up to the match, and then he wasn't. But if there was any question to it, I feel like they shouldn't have built it up.
This is also becoming a running theme for Bray Wyatt in that every big match he gets put in, somebody gets injured at the last minute and then he can't do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's himself, sometimes it's the other person. Poor Bray.
Bray, like, eventually, like, in like 2 years, Bray's probably going to get like released or whatever, and he'll show up on Reddit threads just being like, what's the saddest misuse of a character in like WWE history?
It is Bray Wyatt. That's sad. They could, once he has Harper back, I'm hoping they start building towards something. But
I think his Harper's supposed to be coming back soon.
Yeah, I thought that was what was gonna happen. Like, you think Randy Orton's gonna get him, and then like Luke Harper just jumps on him out of the crowd. Would have been great. Yeah, and then the actual match that happened. Kane versus Bray Wyatt in a no-holds-barred match.
Kane comes out, and I think it's just going to be like some brief like little thing to maybe get Bray a bit of heat, but it goes on for like 12 minutes.
It was 11 minutes.
It's a full-on like match. And I'm like, Jesus Christ!
It was a full-on super tame no-holds-barred match.
Like the monster, the crazy, the demon's friend, Bray Wyatt and Kane, and just kind of like softly hitting each other in the back with chairs.
Yeah, you can tell they were just like, oh, we'll just chuck them out of chairs and they can just beat each other up.
Oh, we got one of the most undeserved holy shit chants I've seen in a little while.
What was the holy shit chant for? I don't remember.
The Bray giving Kane like a senton through the announcer's table.
Oh yeah, where he like, they cleared off to announce table. I thought there wasn't even an announce table spot in that match.
Like, it was again, like you say, it was. I don't think a table spot has ever hurt someone less.
Yeah, because Kane just came back from it straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is, I feel like, especially with that sort of match, that like a Extreme Rules or whatever match, it works the best when there's either a lot of story behind it, like Vince McMahon versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania X7, or AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules, where there's lots of like story, there's lots of crazy run-ins and all that sort of stuff, or when it's two people who fucking hate each other, who are just trying to destroy each other, and they go full on out and they do all sorts of crazy like thumbtack spots and stuff, like Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania. Like, it needs to be one of those two, and this was just... We've got these two guys, and they're not doing anything, so they're just going to hit each other with weapons for a few minutes.
Like, you weren't here for the Teddy Long days, but it literally felt like I could hear Teddy Long's music coming. He comes dancing out, and he's like, "Hold on a minute there, Bray."
Hold on. You're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker. The Undertaker's not here.
These people paid for a match, and they're going to get one.
Yeah, I get the idea that they needed to put a match on. They needed to have Bray Wyatt in a match, or it would have, like...
Otherwise, this pay-per-view would have been like an hour and 45 minutes.
Also that, but yeah, like, people would have gone away feeling disappointed. And giving people a... Like, there's a table spot, there's some chair hits. It's like a nice little... For the live crowd, that's a nice little, here, have a thing. But...
And he's not... and Randy's not concussed enough to come out and RKO someone out of nowhere.
It was not out of nowhere. He limped up the ramp for 5 minutes.
I don't care if you cut the camera away from Randy Orton 2 seconds before he RKOs someone. It doesn't make it a surprise.
Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, did he leave? Is he gone now? Is Bray Wyatt gonna win? Oh yeah, so that's the other part of this match, and it's really stupid. In the year of our Lord 2016, Bray Wyatt, who is apparently viewed as the next face of fear, the next Phenom, the next Undertaker, was pinned by Kane. The old, tubby old man.
Who's 20 years older than Bray Wyatt.
Who's 20 years past his expiration date. That's not true. Kane did a lot of stuff.
I don't think they're even acting like Bray Wyatt is the next anything.
Well, apparently, like, they view him as that, like, Vince or whatever views him as that. But they don't ever treat him like it. They always treat him as just guy who shows up and does some cool promos and that gets beat.
I mean, they didn't act like this was a big deal, but I did appreciate at least that it took 3 chokeslams and an RKO to keep Bray down.
Yeah. The problem wasn't so much that he wasn't like buried. It was just like, I don't think Kane should have pinned him no matter what.
It was kind of like, because Kane has no impact on his fucking story. So what the fuck is he doing?
Like, Bray Wyatt should have pinned him and then get RKO'd. Like, in my opinion, as a fan, it just makes me go, oh, Kane shouldn't be pinning people. Kane shouldn't be chokeslamming Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kane should be, like, coming out every once in a while, doing his pyro, and leaving. Like,
I feel like there should be a segment where fucking not Heath Slater anymore, because Heath Slater's better than that. But if Jinder Mahal's on SmackDown, Jinder Mahal comes out and he's like, I'm amazing, and Kane comes out and he's like, nah. Joe Samson leaves.
That's what they did with Fandango, yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, Fandango's like a perfectly good... Even though I feel like Fabrice... But yeah, I think it works, because I feel like Fandango and Tyler Breeze should be like a kind of formidable tag team. But as individuals, they should kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't... Like, together, their idiocy somehow, like, collides, and their narcissism, like, creates one super ego that somehow crushes everything in its path.
Well, it's pretty canon that, like, a lot of these tag teams, they're just not as good as singles competitors.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's half, like, established that, like, Rhino could never, like, win a singles title at this point because he's just kind of, like, old and runs at people. People are smarter than that these days.
He just goals people, which is lovely. Is there anything else you want to say about the Kane defeating Bray Wyatt before we move on to the tag team finals?
Not really. I will say though, I think we skipped like a segment backstage where Heath and Rhino are doing an interview.
Oh yeah.
Renee, where Heath again trying to blur these fucking lines between what's real, what's not. Except this is not. Because Heath's like, we're gonna win, it's amazing, Rhino, we're awesome, woo, and walks off, and then walks back on 2 seconds later, and then it's like, okay, that was a great interview, guys.
It's a great interview, but I'm really worried we're gonna lose.
Yes, and it starts talking about how he's been shitting all day.
Yeah, because he ate crab cakes.
Yeah.
That was... I was a little like, poop jokes. But I enjoyed the rest of that segment.
It was fine.
Yeah. I just like poop jokes. They were really good on the pre-show. Actually, they were in the social media lounge.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's like Heath Slater just like running his mouth and being great, and Rhino just sitting there and being really quiet. But they have a really great chemistry. So Heath Slater will turn to him and be like, "What do you think about that, Rhino?" And Rhino will be just like, "Yeah, yeah." It works really well. They're such a good team. And they're just, yeah, like talking about pools and stuff, because apparently that's a big part of Rhino's campaign. Is like public pools and stuff.
Really?
So that they're using that, like he's like, I just get to mention pools loads because people are watching them. Like, oh, he cares about pools. Apparently, I don't know anything about the ins and outs of his political campaign, but apparently,
I don't consider myself a Republican, but I kind of want to get that Vote Rhino shirt.
I would vote Rhino. Like, it's not like a Republican thing. I'm just like, if anyone gives him shit, he'll just gore them.
Yes.
He was an ECW champion. Like, no one's gonna mess with that. He was an ECW champion, right?
I think so.
Yeah, probably. Rhino. Yeah.
He isn't. It's a travesty.
Hmm?
That's a travesty if he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Apparently, I haven't seen much ECW. I'm not gonna pretend I know everything, but from what I've heard and read, he was like one of the last big like guys they had after everyone else like went to WCW or went to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Rhino was one of the few guys who was like, "No, I'm loyal to ECW and I'm staying," which I think's cool. I like Rhino, and I like his just can't really talk on the mic, so he's just silent and lets Heath Slater talk for him character. But he's just a very supportive, very big friend. Yeah, onto the match itself. Heath Slater and Rhino beat the Usos, became the first SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and Heath Slater got his contract.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes.
This was everything I want from like a tag team match where one of the tag teams is like an enthusiastic guy who's not that great and kind of like a stern veteran, really tough guy. Like this is like, so Heath Slater's getting the shit kicked out of him for like 15 minutes. Rhino comes in, destroys everyone for like 2 minutes, but then he gets taken out and he ends up basically finishing it with like a fucking house on fire.
Yeah, Heath like looked really like he got beat up for most of that match, and then he's like hitting everyone, just being a badass for like the last minute, and I was just like, holy shit, Heath Slater can fucking go.
Heath Slater's great.
Yeah.
Yes. I honestly don't have much to this. I liked the Usos a lot more in this match than in the Hype Bros match. I like their suplex to the steel ring post.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
I don't think I've seen that. And it was just really cool to see, like a good little like visual spot. Yeah, I honestly don't have much to like add. Like when I enjoy a match, I don't make a whole lot of notes. I just kind of sit there enjoying it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was just like, I just had a good time. It's a good like big like win for Heath Slater and Rhino, like a perfect sort of cap to their story. I hope they go good places with it. Like Heath Slater, like I was kind of like in the predictions. I said I thought the Usos were going to win because I thought they would want to continue the Heath Slater and Rhino story longer. But as long as they know where they're going to go next, I'm completely happy with it to end it while I'm still enjoying it, instead of ending it after I've stopped enjoying it.
Yes, I think, and there's still like ways for them to go with this. I'm not sure, like, same with Becky, I'm not sure what their first like feud is going to be, but I still think that there's like stuff that they can tell with it, and I hope they don't turn Heath Slater like too annoying as a babyface, which they could very easily do.
Yeah. I have enough faith in the SmackDown writing team, which is something you would never hear me say about Raw. I have enough faith in them that I believe that where they'll go will be good. I believe that they have, to some extent, thought where they're going to go next and are ready for it.
And again, I'm still feeling this way about SmackDown and not Raw. I'm very excited to see where they go with this. Like, see what happens next.
Yeah, I thought my thing was this pay-per-view was really predictable in my opinion, but equally I feel like it's set up a lot of unpredictable situations where I don't know where they're going to go next, and I'm curious to see where.
Sometimes if you're on like a path to like bigger things, you just need to go the way that gives you the best like options and stuff, even if it's not like crazy and unpredictable.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, it's not a bad thing to just be a perfectly predictable. Like, here's the things we needed to do. Especially, like I was saying at the beginning, they only had like a couple of weeks to set up this pay per view. They were kind of screwed over by being so close to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And SummerSlam having loomed so big and not really being able to separate completely until SummerSlam from Raw and from their storylines and stuff.
Yes.
So I feel like this was it was a really good outing. We haven't even talked about the final match yet. I'm being all like wrap uppy, but you go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I feel the same way because the main event, like, it's honestly the main event was probably the one thing that did surprise me. So a lot of this previously, apart from Randy Orton and Bray, obviously, they did the best they could with the time that they got. Like, I'd argue this is probably the only pay-per-view where it's going to be like this, because apart from the big four, if they're just alternating brands, from here on they're just going to be giving like feuds and stuff plenty of time to develop. And I trust SmackDown to be good with it.
Yeah, SmackDown, the next pay-per-view is like the 19th of October, I believe.
Yeah, No Mercy.
No Mercy. I'll look it up. But I believe it's, if they have John Cena there for it, it's October 9th, not 19th. But that's still a month for them to actually start building up storylines and stuff. And No Mercy can be like their stepping stone to Survivor Series. And yeah, maybe they'll have John Cena there for it, which I feel like will add a bit of star power to it, I guess.
But you were saying about how John Cena hasn't been here. He actually has been at all of the Smackdowns, just in like the dark matches and stuff.
Yeah, he's been doing dark matches. He just hasn't been on TV.
And I'm like, Baron Corbin has had nothing to do for like a month.
So you want to give Baron Corbin a feud with John Cena?
Fuck it. I don't even mind if John wins. Like, Baron Corbin is low enough that John Cena can win that feud for now, and Baron Corbin can come back in like a year or so.
I'd be okay with that. Like, John Cena can, like, he's kind of like a bit smarting from his loss to AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is going around being like, I'm the face that runs the place.
So John's a bit pissed off.
And he's just like he sees Baron Corbin just sitting outside one day, like smoking or whatever. Like, not smoking, but like I don't know. He's like sees him like being a dick, and he's just like, hey, you should like be happy that you're here and you're wrestling and all this sort of stuff. And Baron Corbin's like, yeah, whatever. AJ Styles fucking beat you. I don't give a shit. But I get paid. I get to beat people up. That's all I care about. And John Cena could be like, but what about the kids and the blah blah blah? And then John Cena beats him. Whatever. I'd be fine with that. I'm down for that.
As a filler feud before fucking Kalisto comes back. Baron Corbin's got nothing to do while Kalisto's injured, so it's just like, it's going to feud with John Cena.
Yeah, this is the problem. Because, like we've been saying this entire thing, SmackDown's roster is so small. That's another problem with that, is if someone's injured, you're like, oh, we can't fucking do anything with these people because there's no one for them to feud with. Because everyone else is busy. Like, who's he going to feud with? Like, Breezango? The Hype Bros? The Hype Bros. Baron Corbin versus the Hype Bros. Both of them.
And there needs to be more 1 versus 2 feuds. I always play them.
But it's kind of an inverse of it, because Baron Corbin is just dominating both of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine with that. So yeah, anything further on the tag final?
Honestly, no. I enjoyed it a lot. The Usos, like I say, impressed me quite a bit. They seem to do a lot more moves as heels than as baby faces, which is usually the other way around, which just shows how much they fucking kicked and jumped back when they were baby faces. So I think everybody came out looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Usos heel run, because well, one, they're pairing with Roman Reigns, and two, their kind of domination of the tag team title for so long has made them bland. So I think a heel run for them is going to be really good, and it's what all faces should do. All faces should be turned heel if we don't like them.
Yes.
Yeah, good. It was good stuff. Final match: AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Championship. Yeah, you're right. It is the World Championship. Why is it not the World Heavyweight Championship?
It should be the WWE Heavyweight Championship.
Mm. Yeah, it's like World and Universal, and it's just like, well, that's the second title.
That's not as good.
I hope when they like merge them again in 2 years or whatever, they go back to calling it the World title. They just forget the Universal title.
Yeah, hopefully.
We can hope. No, I think the Universal title's having good stuff happen around it. It's just an ugly belt and a stupid name.
It's a God belt. Like Kevin Owens is not making that thing prettier.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone could justify just coming out one week and just being like, I changed the belt because it looks stupid, it could be Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose maybe you'd have to make it a face because they get cheered.
Maybe he comes out and puts a K on it instead of a W.
He comes out and he's like, I love this belt. It's so beautiful. And Mick Foley's like, Mick Foley makes a belt and it doesn't suck, and he comes out and he's all like, and we're here in Omaha.
Omaha.
I don't. Is Omaha a state or a city? Or
Omaha is in Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska, and I've got a new championship. Look how nice it looks, and everyone's cheering. And Kevin Owens is like, but I like this one. That one's really ugly.
Or like, he's like, I heard you guys didn't think the new belt looked very nice, and I agree with you. So I've got this new one I'm sure you're gonna love, and it looks exactly the same, just with a K instead of a W.
I'd be down for that. Like, he's just like, look how great it looks. Look how wonderful it looks. I hope they just have him, like, I feel like Jericho should be his belt holder.
Yes.
Like, Jericho should just come out holding his belt.
But like really affectionately, like he pretends he's the champion.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, like, in his promo either after he won it or something, he was like, we're going to be great Universal Champions.
Yes.
And I'm like, I really want to see that dynamic play out. I'm really excited for that. And they're not doing it. That's what I want to see.
They're not going to do it.
It's not gonna, like, Jericho and Kevin Owens have like come up with it, and they're in their heads. It's hilarious, and they've got it all planned out. And the writers are gonna be like, "No, he's feuding with Seth Rollins. He can't do two things at once."
Yeah, I don't trust Raw to capitalize on any good that the superstars themselves come up with.
Apparently, their entire thing is based purely on the fact that they were funny together, and they were like kind of being like, "Can we work together more?"
Yeah, and like that month when neither of them were doing anything.
Yeah. Well, it started when they, like, the infamous "You're the goat, you're the donkey" thing.
Yes.
And apparently Vince really loved it. They were talking about it on a Talk is Jericho. Vince really loved it, and he was like, "Yeah, you can work together and just have fun." And they work with just one writer. Like, those two work with the writer, and they write all their bits and stuff. So those guys are doing okay. I'm just, because obviously Kevin Owens is in the main event. I guess there are other fingers in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
There's other cook stirring, so it won't get played out, I don't think. But yeah, back to this. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose.
Yes, and Styles actually wins. Not clean, but he wins, and that's like the end of the show. Like, I was fully expecting somebody to come out and Shane Teddy Long McMahon to be like, "That's not how we do it here."
You can hit him in the balls, player.
No, they let him have it, and that's the end of the show. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed that match. It was a good match. It was better than any Ambrose matches for the past couple of months. I think.
It's almost like the internet needed to turn on him a little bit for him to like get better. I'm 100% certain that Dean Ambrose doesn't give the tiniest shit about what the internet thinks. But I imagine he was encouraged to either play up to the fact that he's not a wrestler by definition, or add a bit more actual moves to his repertoire. But I liked the beginning of the match a lot. I liked how Styles was clearly like out wrestling him, and they switched it up and they got into like more of a fight, and Dean was clearly better at that, and it shows both their strengths straight away. So that's and it's set up the rest of the match nicely. Yeah,
I liked that Dean Ambrose did a dive through the ropes, and he didn't look like he was going to die. I liked that. He did one, it went perfectly. I liked AJ Styles' big springboard spinny thing.
Springboard spinny thing.
What
David Otunga calls it.
Is that what he called it?
No, he probably didn't call it anything. Just kind of fought.
Oh, that's what he would. Like he would just be like, "Oh, he did a springy spin."
What a maneuver!
I think they called it like the springboard 450 or something. I don't know. Like that. There was some cool spots, some cool moments. And yeah, AJ Styles won. I liked. It wasn't like when he beat Cena dirty, where it was like he would have lost if he hadn't had help. Like it was more like he and Ambrose were on even keel, and then he just used the ref bump to like take the advantage.
Yeah, he just like put a stop to the match basically.
Yeah,
like he glanced over, saw it, dick kick.
Yeah, he was like, that guy's down. I can just hit him in the dick. No one cares. Like, because that's less. Like, he doesn't look weak in cheating because he wasn't cheating because he was going to lose. He was just cheating because he was like, well, the opportunity's there. I'm going to take it. But at the same time, yeah, you protect Dean Ambrose a little bit because he didn't lose clean or whatever. But I don't really care about that.
Yeah. Obviously, they're probably going to do the rematch at No Mercy. I don't know really what Dean does from here because he's on his own now. Like, no Shield to like you automatically go into feuds with.
Yeah, while he was on Raw, he could always fall back on helping Roman.
Yeah, like there was so many times where he had nothing to do and he would just be Roman's friend. Oh, that was good for him.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, I feel like it could be interesting. Though. I feel like you could take him somewhere good because he's having a feud with John Cena. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be fun. But AJ on the other hand, I'm super like on one. I might have said in the predictions that like AJ should eventually get the title, but maybe not at this one, or like it could carry on for a little while. But,
yeah, I feel like we agreed on that.
But I'm super psyched for him to have a title, and I think he can have feuds with anyone.
Yeah, like anyone can believably have a good match with AJ Styles because he drags them to a good match no matter what.
And I'm glad that they put him in such a high up position so quickly. The fact that he's only been on there, he's only been here for 9 months, and he is like 39. So I'm glad they didn't fucking mess around like they are with like Samoa Joe and like put him straight up and put the title on him.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. I don't know if we didn't talk about it on the predictions or anything, but I feel like they're wasting a lot of guys in NXT at the moment who should just already be on the main roster. Like Samoa Joe is as ready as he will ever be, and like Nakamura and Oscar, like they're never going to be any more ready than they are right now.
Yes.
All you're doing is wasting the time that you have using these incredibly talented veterans. And I get that it's important that you have veterans in NXT to like guide the newbies or whatever, but I feel like the whole point of NXT is to feed into the main product and make the main product better. But it's holding a lot of great people, and like you were saying, it's really good that they didn't do it of AJ Styles. He didn't spend a year in NXT and hold the title or whatever. He went straight up. He was he had a good showing in the Royal Rumble. Feud with Jericho, bit.
Like I would honestly say that I know he lost to WrestleMania, and he lost to Roman, but there really hasn't been a point where he's looked that like weak.
Yeah,
since he's been here.
Oh yeah, it wasn't so much weak. It was just kind of like I feel like that was when they were still kind of like he's not going to be a main event, or he's going to be like a mid carder. But I don't think the feud with Roman made him look weak at all because he never lost to Roman fairly.
Yeah, it was never a straight up 1-on-1 match. It was always with loads of interference and no DQ matches and stuff. And
it made him look like a legitimate main eventer, badass mofo, basically. Like it was the right choice to have him in that. Like you didn't want the title on him at that point, I guess, because they were still pushing Roman. They still had the Shield, but he was a perfect guy to look really great in a feud with Roman. And ultimately lose, but not lose clean, so he still looks great. And
I think they've done well, like attributing like the last couple of months to him just being like, well, since being at John Cena, he's like super confident now. He feels like he can beat anyone. And when he was just getting beaten out by Reigns every other week, he probably felt kind of bad about himself.
Yeah, it's like most cocky and overconfident, and like he doesn't need the club. He's just like he knows he's a badass. He knows he can take on anyone. so he can take on anyone.
It works. It's really good. And AJ Styles, like everybody knew AJ Styles was like one of the best in the world at the moment, but in terms of his like in-ring charisma and just straight up charisma, like everybody thought he might struggle on the mic and stuff, but he's just been fucking great all round.
Yeah, I feel like it was. I'm gonna attribute something to his heel turn, but I feel like not only turning heel, but also working with Gallows and Anderson really helped his confidence, because he was working with people he knew and he was working with people he had good comedic timing with.
Yes,
and that helped him find his feet, because before that he was fine, but with Gallows and Anderson he found that humor and that sort of like cocky assholery that has made him really great on the main roster.
I think, before that he was mostly just doing very WWE style of like promos with like long pauses and stuff, and like just recapping everything that's going on. But with the club, it showed him, and also shown like Vince and execs and whatnot, that like you can be funny and kind of different, but it's still like it's not non-WWE style.
He's doing so much better than Gallows and Anderson.
It's pretty sad, but good for him.
Yeah, I wish they'd just put Gallows and Anderson on SmackDown. Honestly.
So many things up.
Yeah. At some point we need to do a video where we just do a post analysis on like the draft. Now that we've had like a couple of months of it. Like after
we'll talk about the goods and bads.
Yeah, like after Clash of Champions, after each one has had its own pay-per-view, and kind of be like, here's what they did right and here's what they did wrong.
Sounds good.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Final thoughts on Backlash. I personally thought it was overall good. Like we said, there's a couple of things that we weren't huge fans of, but enjoyable show.
Yeah, the only straight up bad thing was Wyatt vs Kane, I'd say. Like it just had no pun intended heat to it, and it just seemed like they needed to fill 15 minutes because they were like, holy shit, this is already a pretty short pay-per-view.
Yeah, just add to that slightly, I'm just still mad about the SummerSlam ending, and the fact that Randy Orton is concussed because of it, and they knew he was concussed and they were still advertising this match. It kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, on top of the fact that it was a dumb, boring match.
It was really dumb and boring.
So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all at some point in the future. Thanks for watching. I probably already said that.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, tell us your opinions on Backlash and what you think of like SmackDown as a whole. Do you think it's as good as we think it is, or do you think it's better, or do you not like it? And and how do you compare it to Raw? Bye.
Bye.